For this video, I'll be rewatching a hand I played recently. I already made a solution for this, but I haven't looked at it yet. The idea is that I will go through the hand, explain my thought process while playing the hand or while looking at it right now, and then go through a solvers or a solution and see if my thought process was correct. We have king queen off with the queen of spades. I open 3.2x, it doesn't make much of a difference, population is probably overfolding already, and we get 3-bet. Now obviously we're not folding this hand, I don't like 4-betting this hand, maybe exploitatively, but this guy's stats fold against 4-bet seems fine. His overall 3-bet is 9.1, and if we dig deeper on it, we can see that big blind versus small blind, because it's in position, is 13%. If you look at his more aggressive sets like post-flop, in 3-bet pots in position, you will see that his c-bet on the flop is 80%, turn 49%, and river 75%. But the sample size on this apparently isn't that high, especially if by the river it's only 8 hands. We might not be able to deduce too much from these stats. But like these stats already say something, right? Big blind, 13% in position. So we call and flop top pair, second kicker, and backdoor flush draw. We also block flush draws in case he has a flush draw. And we start out with a check, which is common. And he c-bets small. This is probably the correct strategy. I mean, it's king high, disconnected board. He still has advantage of ace king aces, which, becomes a bit more apparent on these king high flops. Us as a small blind, given that it's such a small c-bet size, we probably want to have a pretty large check raising range. I would estimate around 40% or something. So maybe smaller. And then the question, of course, is where does king queen go? Generally, given that it's pretty high in our range, it would be a 3-bet, but we also want to have it sometimes in our calm range. I would estimate that with the queen of spades, given that it blocks a decent amount of his continuing range, we are gonna call it more often than raising, but it's gonna be a mix, which is common in solvers, to just mix a lot of hands. Now it might be, and we'll look at this in future, that check raising way more than you should is going to be beneficial, because the amount of hands they have to call when you check raise, it's not something they'll achieve. So we go with the call, turn is 7, 8-7 gets there, 7s get there, and that's about it, so it's not a lot of hands. So we check and he bets decent size. I think this is also correct size, 60%. And I mean, we're not letting this hand go, we're going to call. River is an ace. While playing the hand, I wasn't really happy with seeing an ace, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, well, does it really have an ace that often? I'm assuming solver is going to have way more aces than population is actually going to have. It reduces its aces combos, like he does no longer has pocket aces at six combos, but at 3 combos. He says king combos get reduced. We already block a king, so that's 3 times with the 6 instead of 9. 6 instead of 8, sorry. So that's another 2 combos. So it reduces his value hands or previous streets that he already had by 5 combos. And does it increase his value hands that he's going to jam in the river by 5 combos? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how many ace-x of spades he's going to barrel. If he's going to barrel them all, then obviously he's going to have more value combos now. The question, of course, becomes, is he actually betting those ace-x hands? Let's say he has ace-5 of spades. Is he happy with his ace? Sure. Is he jamming it on the river? I'm not sure. So we check, he goes all in, and we call. My estimation is that king queen off is just too high in our range. Despite having the queen of spade blocker, we're just gonna call all of them. And he shows us 6-5. I guess the flop c-bet is obviously fine. I think it's just a range c-bet. The turn, I mean, I probably bet it. You have 6 high, so you probably get better hands to fold, like some pocket pairs. You block like some 7x, if that's relevant. I doubt it. But you do have outs, right? You have a 4 and a 9. A 4 definitely no one sees coming. So, yeah. We'll see what the solver says. Need to bring up the other window here. Okay. So we check, I forced this, but it is pretty common. And yeah, he just raised you a bit small. As expected, we have a pretty high raising frequency. It's because this bet size is so small in its range that we can raise this often. We actually raise way more often than we should call. And with king queen off, it's mainly raising, but then queen of spades prefers calling a bit as well. Like it prefers, it's fine with calling, but as I figured, it's a mix. Generally is. If you look at the raise and then see how he has defense, I doubt population is calling 7 6s, 5s, 4s. They're probably folding those. A bunch of these backdoor hearts are going to be folded. Kings obviously not. Yeah, like population isn't going to call with like queen jack of diamonds and clubs. They're just going to fold these hands. Rest are flush draws. Here as well, like some of these, and then a lot of these backdoor hands are just gonna fold. You're gonna put a lot of pressure on these queens, jacks, 10s, 9s, 7 6s, 5 4s. These backdoor hearts, I don't think population is calling them. So I think over check raising here can definitely be profitable. Like these ace jack combos, population just isn't gonna call them, right? All these ace queen, all these ace jack, a lot of these hands are gonna get folded. So we can definitely get away with raising way more often than we can with calling. We called though, and we got the 7 of diamonds. We check. He bet 20, which seems to be the correct sizing. And okay, we're no longer raising that much here, which does make sense. We're mainly calling, and king queen off is mainly a call. Except with the king of spades, it's like raising a decent amount. And then on the ace of clubs, which is basically, we can also see 6-5 of clubs. Yeah, it's mainly a check. Not sure why solver likes it as a check. Maybe it has to do with not blocking our calling range. I guess so, yeah. We don't really have those hands outside of king 6, which is a call. So it doesn't really block that much from our calling range, which might be a reason why it prefers a check anyway. We check here and he jams on us. I'm not sure why solver uses 2 bet sizes here. Like if he jammed here, like he still has a folding range. That's super weird, right? Like he has to fold for like 22 big blinds more, 41% of the time. That's a really weird thing. So he went all in and king queen off. Yeah, the queen of spades is actually a negative blocker. It's a bit surprising that king 6 is called at 100% frequency and king queen isn't. If we would make an estimation on why, it is because these hands don't really go into a turn barrel, and that causes these hands to not care about this because it doesn't block a bluffing range. While here we can see that queen jack, queen 10, queen 9 are all bluffs. So having a queen is probably more negative effect than having a 6. You can see there's way more queen x in here than there is 6x in here in this bluffing range. So, I mean, blocking the bluffs is apparently more relevant. Because their value of queen x isn't that high, it's a few ace queen, like not that many, and here as well. So the question basically also becomes, how often is he doing it with like ace 5, ace 4, ace 9, ace 10, ace jack? Is he actually betting these on the river? Maybe, maybe not. Is he going all in with ace king? Who knows? Is he finding enough bluffs though? I'm not sure either. But in equilibrium, we should probably fold with the queen of spades way more than I estimated. I estimated that we would call all these combos, just basically full call. So yeah, few adjustments to make. First of all, check raise way more often on the flop. Against the range c-bet for a small size, we can probably overdo it against population. Like, people aren't defending against that properly enough. Obviously, when you do get called, you're going to be in a tougher spot. Turn was fine. And on the river raise, don't be too scared to call down with king high. Because like we have to have like these ace queen of hearts combos. I'm not sure we're calling them on the turn. We have ace 8 obviously, ace 7 obviously, so we do have a decent amount of ace x combos, but I'm not sure I'm gonna have all of these at the same frequency. So definitely check raise more on the flop. A turn is fine. River negative blocker plays more effect than we imagined.